Today on the podcast, I want to talk about an absolute game changer that has just occurred that I believe is going to spur a ton of innovation in AI and make this really a lot more accessible to companies and people. And so really what's happening here is a massive new data set has just been open source that people are able to use. So today on the podcast, we're going to dive into what exactly is happening and what the implications of this new data set are. Welcome to the AI Chat Podcast. I'm your host, Jaden Schaefer. Every day, I break down AI news, interview guests, and explain the implications of AI in your life and business. Make sure that you go to aibox.ai, link in the show notes, to join the waitlist for our new AI platform. We're going to be launching an incredible platform that allows you to build anything you want with workflows in AI. So you're able to chain together ChatGPT and image generators and audio generators to make really powerful apps for your organization, or you can host them on our marketplace and actually generate royalties from them. So make sure to go to aibox.ai and join the waitlist. In addition, if you like the podcast, if you could do me a massive favor and please leave us a review on Apple or Spotify or wherever you listen to your podcast. This helps me be able to get better guests on here as they check the reviews to see how you guys are liking it. So if you could please do that, I would really, really appreciate it. Have you ever wanted to start your own podcast? I record and publish podcasts on a platform called Spotify for Podcasters, and I absolutely love it. Essentially, you can upload from your phone or computer, and it distributes to every platform that plays podcasts. They support video podcasts, and you can make money on the platform with ads or even podcast subscriptions, something that has made my life so much easier as a podcaster. So if you're interested, I highly recommend you give it a try. You can download the Spotify for Podcast app or go to spotify.com/podcasters to get started on your podcast today. The headline here is that Allen Institute for Artificial Intelligence has pretty much unveiled what they're calling DOLMA. So this is the largest open source language model data set. This is amazing. This is so heartwarming to me because this is what I think AI should be all about. This is what's really going to help advance AI forward, whether it's this or future iterations of this. They're setting the example here, and I'm here for it. So the Allen Institute for Artificial Intelligence it's AI2 recently unveiled this massive open source data set, which is tailored for training artificial language models. So it has a 3 trillion token size, and DOLMA really, I think, because of that, has emerged as the largest open source data set in the domain, period. So the creation of DOLMA is part of AI2's OLMO initiative, which is really just geared towards establishing an open, transparent language model, which is, definitely a very stark contrast to someone like OpenAI, who has a very black box when it comes to the data they put in there for a number of reasons, right? They say it's because they're like, well, it's our copyright, it's our like intellectual property, but really I think a big problem is people would be mad if they knew where all of the data came from, right? If they're going and scraping all of your Reddit posts and then using those to train and then charging you for them, people would be upset about that. So I think that's another reason why OpenAI is very non-transparent. So in creating this current data set, the Allen Institute really kind of stuck to 5 core principles. Number 1, openness, representativeness, size, reproducibility, and risk mitigation. Those are kind of the 5 areas. And I want to go over what those mean kind of according to them. So openness, AI2 responded to the researchers community's pressing concerns about restricted access to pre-training corpora and associated language models. Essentially, they envisioned DOLMA as a transparent data set that is open for thorough examination, right? What a novel concept. You can literally go see what's inside of it, examine the contents. If there's something problematic or something illegal or something copyrighted, it should be able to be, removed theoretically. And so I think this is really interesting, and this is a first step towards that. So as far as, the whole representativeness, they aimed for DOLMA's content to stand toe-to-toe with data sets employed by both private and open language models, OpenAI or closed AI. The third thing is size. So recognizing the potential benefits of large data sets, AI2 incorporated findings from research that underscore the correlation between larger training data sets and heightened model performance. The fourth thing is reproducibility. So AI2 is really focused on community engagement, ensuring that any tools created during Dolma's creation are open for others to replicate or modify. So honestly, they're doing a huge service to the entire community with this kind of open source, open concept approach. And I think a lot of people really appreciate that. So the fifth thing is risk mitigation. Designing Dolma with a strong emphasis on privacy, the Institute ensured that its web-crawled content could not be traced to actual individuals. This is interesting, right? Because on the one hand, they're saying we have a very open data set where you can find, everything that's in it, but they stop one step short of actually saying, who said what in the data set, which is interesting, right? So like if they went and scraped Reddit, for example, they'd tell you maybe what subreddit stuff appeared on, but they wouldn't tell you what the users' names are. Now, that's interesting because perhaps that's for privacy reasons, but it does, I guess there's some tricky aspects of that when it comes to like attributing certain content to someone. And the reason I say that is like, if they ever were to do some play that I've heard, this isn't just like some moonshot, like I've heard people float this idea where essentially you compensate people when their data is used. But really what that would look like is more like you're compensating like Reddit as a whole and not the individual contributor that actually wrote a post that's getting used, or, so I'm not sure how that plays into it, but it's probably for legal reasons and whatnot. They got to keep the privacy of the individuals that have written something private beyond just like the website it came from. So in any case, this is, I guess, is just another reason that if you are a content creator, you need like your own platform, your own website to host a lot of your stuff. And then it's probably a lot easier to claim it when these AIs inevitably suck up all your data and train models off of it. So I think developing Dolma wasn't a very easy task, right? This is the biggest open source data set ever. And so I would not expect this to be easy. The team grappled with some really critical decisions surrounding data sources, like I just mentioned. And then, of course, pre-processing methods, language inclusion, and strategies for personal data exclusion. And essentially by employing a bunch of different practices that are pretty standard for data filtration and duplication, and this is also coupled with measures to kind of weed out potentially harmful content. They essentially produced this data set with a really rich conglomeration of everything on the web. So that was English literature from Product Gutenberg, scholarly papers from PES2O, Wikipedia entries, and code snippets from GitHub. Unlike many private databases that really kind of shroud their components in mystery, Dolma really prioritized transparency here. So even among its open dataset peers, Dolma, I think, kind of stands out just due to its sheer size and also its unique licensing terms. So I'm sure a lot of people are interested, right? What is the licensing terms here for this? So licensing under the Allen Institute's impact terms, it's classified as a medium risk artifact. So for those looking to tap into Dolma's potential, it comes with conditions centered on transparency, risk reduction, and ethical usage. The license explicitly restricts its use in military operations, surveillance activities, or for generating disinformation, which, I mean, sure, I'm sure everyone, like ChatGPT should put that in their terms, like can't use it for generating disinformation. I don't know. It's kind of funny. Like it just like, it goes without saying, but also, people do it anyways. So like the people that are generating disinformation probably don't really care about the terms. But in any case, this licensing approach kind of strikes a balance between accessibility and the potential hazards of circulating such an extensive data set, or so they think. But I mean, I'm not 100% sure. I'm not 100% sure what that means, right? Because like, let's say you download this data set, use it for reasons you shouldn't. And like, let's say North Korea creates an AI that creates disinformation based off this data set. What are they going to do? Like yell at North Korea and tell them they have to give back the data? Like, too late. So I don't know. I'm not saying that I actually think it's a good thing they created this, but I don't know. So I think maybe in a lot of cases like this, they put stuff in their terms of service just so when something bad happens, they can inevitably say like, it's against our terms of service. We told you not to. But whatever, it's not a big deal. It's the internet. All the information's out there anyways. I'm sure North Korea could build a giant web crawler scraper bot, or probably already has, and has sucked up all this info anyways. But in any case, I think prospective users are going to be required to share their contact information and articulate their intended dataset usage. Upon approval, they can download Dolma from the Hugging Face platform, and for a deeper dive into the dataset, a comprehensive datasheet is also going to be available. Additionally, a GitHub repository complete with code and instructions on Dolma's generation and exploration has been provided. So AI2 has really big plans for Doma. I think they're intending to augment it with more data sources and languages in the future, which is going to be interesting, right? Multiple languages beyond just English. And with this whole endeavor, the Institute aspires to really champion openness in AI, in research, and kind of pave the way for superior language technology advancements. Overall, I think, like a big tip of the hat to the Institute for doing this. I'm really excited for more projects like this to come forward. If we have a ton of open source models, a ton of open source data sets, this is amazing, because this is how the community can build really creative, impressive tools, not get stifled by the costs of API calls or other things that maybe we are unable to afford. And so I think this is going to be a really interesting, exciting place to watch in the future.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Forget the frustration of picking commerce platforms when you switch your business to Shopify, the global commerce platform that supercharges your selling wherever you sell. With Shopify, you'll harness the same intuitive features, trusted apps, and powerful analytics used by the world's leading brands. Sign up today for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/tech, all lowercase. That's shopify.com/tech.
Thank you for listening to the AI Chat Podcast. If you enjoyed the podcast, I'd appreciate it if you rate me wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you're looking for an innovative group of AI enthusiasts, make sure you check out our Discord channel and also our Facebook community. It's obviously a lot more interactive than a podcast, where we can actually share software tools, prompts that we're using in everyday AI. I'll leave a link for those in the description below.